Hey guys, before we get into the video, I just wanted to remind you that I have a Twitter account over at carthusdojo. Head over there, follow me, send a tweet at me, and I'll reply right away, and we can have a cool discussion about Dragon Ball. If you want to have a voice chat discussion, check out the Discord. The link's in the description. You get invited right away. As long as you behave yourself somewhat, you can stay around. Alright, now, video intro. Hello everyone, I'm Carthu and welcome back to the dojo. Today, I want to discuss the latest manga chapter of Dragon Ball Super, manga chapter 39. Now, despite this being a controversial chapter, I did want to cover the potentially least controversial topic, surprisingly, about the chapter, and that is the Gohan versus Kefla fight. Now, for those who aren't familiar, Kefla is the fusion of Kefla and Kale in the Tournament of Power. However, in this version of the Tournament of Power, Toyotaro's version, they fuse while in their Super Saiyan form and Super Saiyan Berserk form respectively. So, they become a Super Saiyan right away after fusing. No transformation sequence or anything, they are straight into that Super Saiyan state and seemingly stay in that. I don't think they ever turn Super Saiyan 2 as far as I could see as I went through the manga chapters again. Now, the important thing here is who fights them, and that is Gohan. Now, to emphasize, he fights Kefla. But he doesn't just fight her, he draws with her. And I want to talk about how strong that makes Gohan, because it's utterly ridiculous. So the first thing we have to get through is some misconceptions I've been seeing floating around my Twitter feed and YouTube comments and things like that. That is that Kefla is somehow weaker than Kale. The Kale that one-shotted, mastered Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Topo at the same time was going around one-shotting every character in the Tournament of Power, even one-shotted the cybernetic fusion of Universe 3 on Iraza, and really just goes around being an overall powerhouse. But at the cost of her own life, as it's slowly degrading her body and eventually leading to her own inevitable demise. This leads to Kaba and Kefla putting fusion earrings on the both of them, Kefla and Kale, so that way they could save Kale's life by fusing them into one body to basically stop her rampage. Now, after doing so, it is shown and stated that Kefla has the battle senses of Kefla and the raw power of Kale, if not greater. Now, obviously, the power should be greater as it was a fusion, and the battle senses seem to be the dominant personality, which would be the more calm and collected one. Seems to make sense if you think about it, but this puts Kale's power into a controlled and isolated vessel, to the point that the people who were finessing her earlier with tactics right before the fusion were now being finessed by her because of her new personality and, as they said, moves that are completely different than earlier. She then goes on to spot Jiren and Goku, and when she does, she sends a blast their way, thinking she knocked both out in one shot. Remember, she witnessed what happened to Hit and Goku earlier in this tournament, and is still overly confident that she would be able to one-shot them with that blast. I'm not saying that it would one-shot Jiren, Goku maybe in Super Saiyan Blue even though he's in base there, but to be fair, it could have been just a statement. However, this blast that is made for a Jiren that she's seen before and a Goku that she's seen before in action is then deflected casually by Gohan. This shows just right away how ridiculously strong Gohan has gotten since his training in the gravity room, and it only gets crazier after that. Because during the next chapter, manga chapter 39, the one that came out today, as opposed to the one we were just talking about, which was manga chapter 38, well, manga chapter 39 has their actual fight, because they begin to actually have a full-on pitched battle. And this battle is back and forth the entire time, showing how they are literal equivalents to each other, to the point that it even ends up in a draw. Kefla says how amazing he is. There are mentions of Gohan's limitless potential, and potentially him growing infinitely more as combat continues, and him just becoming just stronger and stronger. Krillin even hints that if Gohan didn't have a day job, he could surpass Goku, but I'd argue that Krillin's wrong and doesn't realize that he has already surpassed Goku. Hello everyone, sorry to pause the video here with this weird little effect thing that I've never done before. I just wanted to clarify what I was saying here, and it'll clarify something that happens later in the video as well, as I found that from a outside party's perspective, or someone who's not familiar with the way I make points or the way I talk about the power scale of the series, you'd actually think I'm contradicting myself by saying, you know, we can't trust this statement, but we can trust this statement later on. So I'd like to clarify that. You see, statements have this way of being ambiguous, especially in fiction. And statements can constantly be contradicted in fiction by the showings on screen or in the reading or on the pages. There are a lot of examples of this, but in this case, we can show that Kefla is potentially the strongest fighter in the tournament. You know, that implies that she's at least in the top 5, maybe even top 2. I'd argue top 3. And then you have Gohan, who goes on to, you know, go toe-to-toe with her, and, you know, Vados' statement seems to be accurate based on what happened with Kale previously as well, against Toppo and Vegeta. Toppo and Vegeta considered to be some of the higher-level candidates in this tournament, so you do have this sort of, you know, backed-up statement. But then you have Krillin's statement. Now, Krillin, in this case, can't sense God Ki, so he has no idea how powerful Mastered Super Saiyan Blue, or Super Saiyan Blue in general, is. He has no gauge. You know, he's just seeing Gohan and sensing Gohan, and from that, determining that he could become stronger than Goku. He's assuming that he's weaker than Goku at this point, rather than actually having knowledge of it. And the feats actually say otherwise, as, you know, Kale was able to one-shot not only someone who defeated Goku, but also someone who's around equal to Goku. And that showing, happening at about the same time, you know, they basically hit at the same time, is a very good showing for Kale by herself being stronger. Kale then fuses with Kefla, and they become Kefla. And then this backs up Vados' statement. Again, we haven't gotten to Vados' statement in this video yet, but I wanted to clarify this now. Alright, back to the original video. Now this is because Vegeta and Goku are fairly relative to each other. They both have Mastered Super Saiyan Blue, and they're pretty close in overall power. But even more impressive is Toppo, who showed himself to be stronger than Mastered Super Saiyan Blue Goku in his fight in the preliminaries. Now that means that Kefla not only one-shotted someone relative to Goku in terms of Vegeta, but also one-shotted someone who was superior to Goku, a Goku that was the same level as Merge Zamasu. It's utterly insane to think that this Gohan is going toe-to-toe with her pretty easily, and supposedly in base form, as the manga seems to think that the unlocked potential is just that, unlocked potential, and it's not its own form. Ultimate Gohan isn't really a thing in the manga as far as we can tell. He even states that he doesn't need to do Super Saiyan anymore, and he chooses not to because he chooses to fight like an Earthling. This piece of dialogue actually implies that Gohan can use Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 still, but finds no need to because of the way he chooses to fight. This would mean he's 100 times stronger, if not more, than he already is outputting. It's utterly insane to think about, especially considering that Kefla should already far surpass Super Saiyan Blue, Mastered Super Saiyan Blue, and honestly Toppo-tiered characters. This would put Kefla at an immense level of power and speed, well beyond the limits of most of the combatants in the tournament. This would mean that Gohan without Super Saiyan 1 or 2 in base is equivalent to someone who should be, by all reasonable logic, the second strongest in the Tournament of Power, second to Jiren. Now, we don't know for sure that Jiren's more powerful than her, but Vados' statement at least makes it clear that she should be the second best at least, and then Gohan goes to finesse her without even using a Saiyan transformation. Implying that Gohan can use the Saiyan transformation, and assuming that is true, well, Gohan would very easily be the second strongest character in the Tournament of Power. Stronger than Toppo, stronger than Vegeta, and even stronger than Goku. Now, I'm not saying UI Omen Goku because we really don't have any feats for that, or even UI Goku, but stronger than Mastered Super Saiyan Blue Goku currently? Absolutely. Gohan has once again surpassed his father. But that's just my opinion, guys. Leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want more anime videos. Check me out on Patreon if you really want to support me. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified every single time I do just about anything on this website. But for now, guys, video outro.